There's a few things that make selling into the UK different. I think one of the biggest things I've seen is that UK buyers tend to skew towards warmer introductions and relationships. I often see people replying to later emails only after we've been connected on LinkedIn, or if I mentioned a colleague that we've spoken to before. This tends to help get introductions. I also think personalization is especially important, and awareness of their problems. If you're not able to have a warm introduction that you can leverage to make that sort of pitch that you're giving more compelling.
Mm-hmm. So you feel that you have to do like a lot of touch points before you really have the attention of the person.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think something that really helps is leveraging a warm introduction. If they've spoken to a colleague before, we've met them at an event, even if it was 2 years ago, I think that gives you an excuse to reach out and a much more compelling reason to reply. So I think it's fundamentally to do with multi-threading. You have to reach out to a lot of different contacts in different buying teams. You've got to think about who's in charge of the e-commerce systems, who's in charge of the project to optimize that, maybe even the engineering and the growth stakeholders. I think you need to hit each one of these teams with a slightly different message that leverages what they're interested in, because UK buying teams are consensus driven. Like I've said, they work together, and sending one message to all of them doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be relevant for the person who reads it.
Are you using AI, Claude, ChatGPT, or Copilot to help you on your prospecting?
Yes, I do use AI to help me, but I use it in a specific way. So I don't agree with people who try and automate their entire outbounding workflows and let an AI agent do everything, but I think it can be used in a smart way. So we use GPTs, and I've been working on a Claude skill at the moment to effectively research accounts and surface that important information that a human needs to write a compelling pitch. So, for example, if I went on Salesforce and I found an account, while I'm adding contacts and doing some research on if we've spoken to them before, I'll let this GPT or Claude skill look at the internet, look at live data about their growth rate, perhaps even their margins, if they're opening new stores, they're adding new product lines, if leaders of the company have been on podcasts, for example, or in blogs. All of this information can be used as leverage in writing and delivering a compelling pitch that is tailored to the account. So that's how I use it. Certainly not to actually draft my emails or automate in that sense. So I'm not able to comment on my team here at Algolia, and I also wouldn't want to. But kind of similar to what we just spoke to, I see a lot on LinkedIn about people speaking about how they approach outbounding. They're trying to automate their workflows to a point where it feels mass-produced and not tailored to the account or their digital strategy. I think people can tell when you haven't put time into your emails and your outreach, and if it's generic, people won't respond. I mean, there's a reason why Anthropic and OpenAI still hire BDRs when they're probably the best placed companies on the planet to automate this kind of work, and still they choose not to.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that separate top performing BDRs. The first thing is just their drive and commitment and motivation to approach a high number of accounts and also do their research on those accounts. It's one thing to outbound a lot. It's one thing to outbound a lot and do your research and make sure it's quality outbound as well. People who don't do their research first and at the very least tailor at an account level won't adapt and they won't close deals. And I think the second thing that's really important is A/B testing your emails. It doesn't have to be particularly scientific, but if you're selling AI in 2026, what's relevant 6 months ago won't necessarily be relevant anymore. And therefore, I think it's very important that you're constantly testing new strategies and new hooks in your emails. That would be the other thing that separates top performing BDRs. I think they need to learn the local business culture quite quickly. Understanding how formal to be, how direct to be, what kind of messages are credible and what proof points matter to people is something that's very important to learn. And if they don't learn that, then their emails are going to feel unprofessional. No one's going to reply to them. Additionally, one more thing I'd like to add is for all BDRs who are starting, and that's how to follow up with warm leads. I think it's very important that you follow up with your warm leads and you don't get scared if they don't reply after one or two emails. It's important to then go on other channels, LinkedIn, call them rather than just spamming them and panicking. So those would be the two things.
Nice.